Hello everyone, welcome to CareerEdit and myself Mohan. At this session we are going to discuss some of the previous year Wipro quantitative aptitude questions. So this session is going to be definitely helpful for you. So don't skip any part and watch the video till the end. Now we have our first question. If the letters of the word Rachit are arranged in all possible ways and these words are written out as in dictionary, what is rank of the word Rachit? So first we have to arrange letters of the word Rachit in ascending order. So if you arrange letters of the word Rachit in ascending order, we get A, C, H, I, R and T, right? Now, if you look at the arrangement as per in dictionary, you have to find rank of this word Rachit, right? So obviously the first letter starting in dictionary will be A. Since it is a 6-letter word, so the first letter will be A. So the remaining 5 letters can be filled in 5 factorial ways because all the letters are different, right? So remaining we have C, H, I, R, T. So these letters can jumble between them in 5 factorial ways. So 5 factorial is 120. So we get 120 such words starting with A. So starting with C, right? So after A completion we have C. So starting with C, again we will get another 120 letters. 120 words. So after C we will get the letter starting with H. So again we will get another 120 such words starting with H. So after completion of H we get I. So starting with I we will get another 120 such words. Okay, and next letter is R, right? So next letter is R. So here actually we have to look Rachit, right? So R. Okay, now after fixing the first letter, what will be the second letter? So the second letter will be obviously A because in dictionary the next highest word is A, right? So after A we get C and after C we have I and after H. After H we have I. We have already fixed R in the first place and we have T. So this will be the first word after these 480 words, right? So what could be the rank of Rachit? So rank of Rachit will be 481 in dictionary, right? So starting with R, we will get Rachit in first place itself, right? So answer for this question is 481, that is option D. This becomes our answer. This question is based on permutation and combination. Now moving to question number 2. Ravi's salary was reduced by 25%. Percentage increase to be affected to bring the salary to the original level is dash. So first we are reducing the salary of Ravi by 25%. After that we have to increase it by how many percentage to bring back it to original level. This is our question. So we have a shortcut, right? So first we are decreasing the salary. We are decreasing by 25%. After that we have to increase it to bring back it to the original level. So if we are decreasing 25%, we have to increase how many percentage to bring back it to original level, right? So decreasing 25% means, so 25% is 1 by 4, right? So equivalent fraction of 25% is 1 by 4. So this is the decreased fraction. So here we have to increase the fraction. So if you want to increase the fraction, you have to keep the numerator as it is, right? So here numerator is 1, you have to keep the numerator as it is. To increase the fraction, we have to decrease the denominator, right? So here you have 4, 4 minus 1 you get 3. Right. So if you are decreasing 1 by 4th of the number, you have to increase it by 1 by 3 to bring back it to the original number. So what is 1 by 3? You know it is 33.33%. So you can also write 33.33% as 33 1 by 3%. So answer for this question is option C. So if Ravi's salary is decreased by 25%, we have to increase it to 33.33% to bring back it to the original salary. This becomes our answer. Okay, now question number 3. A and B can finish a piece of work in 20 days, B and C in 30 days, A and C in 40 days. In how many days will A alone finish the job? Okay, here we have 3 people. So A and B can complete the job in 20 days. B and C can complete the same job in 30 days, whereas A and C can complete the job in 40 days. Since we don't know what is the total amount of work to be completed, we can take the LCM of 20, 30 and 40. So LCM of 20, 30 and 40 is 120 units. So our assumption is totally 120 units need to be completed. Now A and B can complete this 120 units in 20 days. That means in a single day A and B will complete 120 by 20, 6 units. So 6 units per day is the efficiency of A and B in a single day. Now B and C can complete this 120 units in 30 days. That means in a single day B and C can complete 120 by 30, 4 units per day. Now A and C can complete 120 by 40, 3 units per day. So this is efficiency of A and C in a single day. Now what is the total efficiency of A, B and C? 6 plus 4 plus 3, 13 units per day. So this 13 units per day is efficiency of 2 times A, 2 times B and 2 times C. So we can say 2 into A plus B plus C's efficiency is 13 units per day. So what is A, B and C's one day's together efficiency? 13 by 2? It is 6.5 units per day. So 6.5 units per day is the one day efficiency of A, B and C together. Now we have to find in how many days A alone can complete the whole job, right? So for that we have to find the one day efficiency of A. For that we have to substitute the value of B and C, right? So the one day efficiency of B and C together is 4 units per day. So A plus 4 equivalent to 6.5 units per day. So one day efficiency of A will be 6.5 minus 4, 2.5 units per day. So one day efficiency of A is 2.5 units per day. So with this efficiency, A alone can complete this 120 units in how many days? This is our question. So when we solve this, you get 48 days. So in 48 days, A alone can complete the whole job. This becomes our answer. So the question is based on time and work. The concept is so simple, right? Okay, now moving to question number 4. How long will a train 100 meter long traveling at 72 km per hour take to overtake another train 200 meter long traveling at 54 km per hour? So we have two trains. So length of first train is 100 meter and length of second train is 200 meter. So speed of first train is 72 km per hour and speed of second train is 54 km per hour. Now we have to find how much time it will take for the first train to overtake the second train. Now both the trains are moving in same direction only, right? So to find the relative speed, we have to look the difference between these two speeds. So time equal to distance by time. So because we have to find time taken by the first train to cross the second train. So the total distance here is 100 meter plus 200 meter, 300 meter. And to find the relative speed, 72 minus 54, 18 km per hour. Now answer is given in seconds. So you have to convert this kilometer per hour to meter per second by multiplying with 5 by 18. So while cancelling, you get 300 meter by 5 meter per seconds. So 300 by 5 you get 60 seconds. So in 60 seconds the faster train will overtake the slower train. So 60 seconds is nothing but 1 minute. That is option B. So answer for this question is 1 minute, option B. This becomes our answer. The problem is based on trains. Okay, now we have question number 5. Okay, here you have an analogy question. So how to solve this kind of problems easily, right? So try to look at the relationship between these two variables, right? So y, d, I, n with v, a, f, h. So similar kind of relationship will be found on left hand side also. Okay, now what is the value of y, right? So the order of y is 25 and d is 4th letter and I is 9th letter and n is 14th letter. Similarly, if we take v is 22nd letter, a is first letter, f is 6th letter and k is 11th letter. Now we try to look at the relationship. Yes, we have a relationship. 25 minus 3 you get 22, 4 minus 3 you get 1, 9 minus 3 you get 6, 14 minus 3 you get 11. So here the structure is minus 3 of the first variable from second variable. So here you have B, G, L, Q. Now what is the value of B? We get 2 and value of G is 7 and value of L 12 and value of Q we have 17. Now when you subtract 3 from this left hand side, you will get this value 2, 7, 12 and 17. So you have to add 3 with these values, right? 2 plus 3 you get 5 and 7 plus 3 we get 10, 12 plus 3 we get 15, 17 plus 3 we get 20. Now write the corresponding values of these particular numbers. So 5th letter in alphabet is 6 and 10th letter in alphabet series is J and 15th letter is O and 20th letter is T. So E, J, O, T. So answer for this question is option D. This becomes our answer. Hope you understood the problem. Now moving to next question. Yes, we have another analogy here, right? So if you want to work it down, take a pause, work it for 10 to 20 seconds, then again play the video. I hope you got the answer. So the problem is so simple, right? So here n is 14 and value of L is 12 and O is 15. Now for R the value is 18, for P it is 16, for S we get 19. Now what is the relationship between 14 and 18? It is plus 4, 12 plus 4 you get 16, 15 plus 4 you get 19. Now it is plus 4. Now here you have Z X A. So what is the value of Z? We get 26 and X we get 24, for A we get 1. Now when you add 4 with some values you will get 26, 24 and 1, right? So 26 minus 4 you get 22. So 22 and 24 minus 4 you get 20 and so 26, after that again 1, right? So the cycle flows like this, right? So A, B, C, D and again Z ends here, then again the cycle will start with A, right? So if A is 1, if A is 1, then the 21st letter will be minus 4 of 1, right? So 26 minus 4 you get 22 and 1 minus 4 you get actually 23. Right, so in this cycle you will get 23, right? So what is the value of 22? You get V and value of 20 is T and value of 23 you get W. So answer for this question is option C, V, T, W. So the series here follows is plus 4 plus 4. Now hope you understood the problem. Now moving to question number 7. A man speaks the truth 3 out of 4 times. He throws a die and reports it to be 6. What is the probability of it being a 6? Okay, now man speaks truth in 3/4 of the time. So before that, while throwing a dice, what is the probability of getting a 6? So the probability of not getting a 6 is 5/6. The probability of getting a 6 is 1/6. Right? Now this is not equivalent to 6 and this is equivalent to 6. Now there is a chance that he will speak truth and 3/4 out of times, right? So in 3/4 out of times he will speak the truth. So remaining 1/4 out of the time he will speak lie. Now while he is not getting a 6, he have two options. So first thing he will speak a truth and second he will speak a lie. So first he will speak the truth in 3/4 out of the time and second he will speak the lie in 1/4 out of the time. Now he will say truth in 3/4 out of the time as he is not getting a 6, right? So this will happen in 3/4 into 5/6 times. So first he will speak the truth that it is 5/6 and next he will speak the lie in 1/4 of the time into 5/6, right? So 1/4 into 5/6. So this is how he will report that the number that he obtained in the die is a 6, right? So this is actually he is reporting a lie as 6 and second case it is equivalent to 6. So first case he will report this one with truth, right? So 3/4 of the time he will say truth. So 3/4 into 1/6 is the probability of getting a 6. So this is actually a truth. And second he will lie in 1/4 out of the cases. So he will lie that it is not a 6. So it is 1/6. Now we have to find the probability of getting only 6, right? So probability of getting only 6. So first he lie it as a 6 and second he is telling the truth as 6. So here the total probability is required sample space is only this, right? So we don't need to consider he is not speaking, he is not reporting it as 6. So here he is not reporting as 6 and here he is not reporting as 6. So here we have to consider only these two cases. So the total sample space here is 1/4 into 5/6 plus 3/4 into 1/6. So out of this, what is the probability of getting only 6? That means we have to consider only the truth. So here the truth is 3 by 4 times of 3 by 4th of the time he will say truth as 1 by 6. That is probability of getting a 6 in while rolling a dice. So 3 by 4 into 1 by 6. So 3 by 4 into 1 by 6 divided by 1 by 4 into 5 by 6 plus 3 by 4 into 1 by 6. We get 3 by 24. And here we get 5 by 24 plus 3 by 24. You get 8 by 24. So 24 and 24 cancel, you get 3 by 8. So 3 out of 8 times he will get the probability of getting a 6 while rolling a dice, where he speak only 3 by 4th out of the time the truth is. So here we are not using any Bayes theorem, here we are using a common sense to derive the answer. So answer for this question is option A, 3 by 8. Hope you understood the problem. Now moving to question number 8. A team of 200 wagers undertake building work of a bridge. The total time allotted to build the entire bridge is 20 days. After 10 days since the start, 200 more wagers join the team and together the team completes the bridge in required time. If the original team do not get these 200 extra wagers, how many days they would be behind the schedule to complete building the bridge? Okay. Now initially we had 200 wagers. So these 200 wages worked for 10 days first, right? So these 200 wages first worked for 10 days. So they will complete how many units of work? So 200 wages working for 10 days will complete 2000 wager days of work. After that we are getting a 200 more workers. That means we are having 400 workers now. Now these 400 workers joining together working for another 10 days, right? Because the total work is need to be completed in 20 days. So they are working for another 10 days and these people will complete 400 into 10, 4000 wager worker days work. So totally they are working 600 wager days of work. Now if we don't have this extra 200 wagers, they will be how many days behind the schedule to complete this work? This is our question. Now, if this we have only this 200 wages, right? So they will complete this 600 wager days work in how many days? Wages cancel and we are having 30, right? So they will complete this total work in 30 days, but actually they have to complete the work in only 20 days, which is 10 days extra, right? So answer for this question is actually 10 days. So they will take 10 more days extra to complete the whole work. This becomes our answer. Hope you understood the problem. Now moving to question number 9. A team P of 20 engineers can complete a task in 32 days. Another team Q of 16 engineers can complete the same task in 30 days. Then the ratio of working capacity of one member of P to that of Q is dash. Okay, we have two teams, P and Q. So in P we have 20 engineers. These 20 engineers will take 32 days to complete the job. In team Q we have 16 engineers and the 16 engineers can complete the same job in 30 days. Now we try to compare the total efficiency. So before that we can cancel as it is. So E and E cancel, D and D cancel, right? So when you cancel this, it will go for 2 times. So again the 0 and 0 cancel. So 2 into 2 it is 4 and you have 3 here. So in simple we can say the ratio of the single engineer of P and Q is 4:3. So answer for this question is 4:3. Right? So the problem is so simple. So this is actually based on the men and work concept. Now moving to last question. The price of machine D equals the sum of prices of machine A, B and C, whose price are in the ratio 2:3:4 respectively. If weights of A, B, C and D varies as squares of its individual price and difference of weight of D and A, B and C together is 9880 kg, then what is weight of D? Okay. Now reading the first point, the price of machine D equals the sum of prices of machine A, B and C, whose price are in the ratio 2:3:4. So we have A price 2 parts, B price 3 parts and C's price 4 parts. So D's price will be how many parts? It's so simple. D equivalent to 2x plus 3x plus 4x. So totally D is 9 parts efficient, right? Or we can say the price of D is 9 parts. Next, if weights of A, B, C and D varies as square of its individual price. So it is given, the weights of A, B, C varies as square of its individual price. So we can say weight is directly proportional to the price, right? So weight is directly proportional to the price, or we can say weight is equivalent to proportionality constant into P. So whenever, if it is directly proportional or inversely proportional, we will be adding a proportionality constant, right? So here K is the proportionality constant. So here it is given, see, weight of A is directly proportional to square of its price. So here A is 2 parts, right? So this vary to the square of its price. So we can say A is equivalent to proportionality constant into square of its price means, so 2x square. So 2x the whole square is equivalent to 4x square. And for B, this will be proportionality constant into 3x the whole square, that is 9x square. For C, you get proportionality constant into 4x square, you get 16x square, right? So you will be writing 4x the whole square, that is 16x square, right? So we are writing like this. Now when you take D, it is proportionality constant into 9x square, you get 81x square, right? So 9x the whole square is 81x square. Now it is given, the difference of weight of D and ABC together is 9880. So the difference of weight of D and ABC together is 9880. So first we have to take D. So D is 81x square, right? So 81x square minus A, B and C together is 4 plus 9 plus 16, we get 29x square. So this difference is equivalent to 9880. So 81 minus 29, we get 52x square. So 52x square is equivalent to 9880. So what is the value of x square? You get 190, right? So x square is 190. Now they are asking us to find the weight of D. So if you want to find weight of D, it is nothing but K into 81x square. So here you don't need to worry about the proportionality constant. So 81 into 190. So 81 into 190, we get 15390. That is option A. Now we found the weight of D is 15390. This becomes our answer. Hope you understood all the problems of this session, right? So here I have included some tricky and challenging questions of previous year Wipro quantitative aptitude, right? So in upcoming session I will try to add some more problems related to Wipro. Until that, stay connected with Career D Training Solutions and share the video to your friends. And if you have doubts or if you follow some other different methodologies, please try to put it in comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.